Please welcome Jeff Rosenblum.
Hello. First of all, what an amazing conference. I have seen some absolutely incredible presentations today, but I think more important than anything, the energy coming out of the attendees has been fantastic. So can we just pause for a second? Give each other a round of applause. Seriously, it's a long day now, and you guys have been, you can just tell how much enthusiasm there is, and I think everybody appreciates it. And before I even introduce myself, let me give you a little preview of what I'm going to tell you about in today's presentation. Today, I'm going to introduce you to an evil genius, a man that has fundamentally changed business forever, a man who's leading a revolution in the way that corporations communicate with their audience. Yet this guy has also screwed up every single day of your career. I also want to introduce you to the most evil corporation in the world, a corporation that loves to torture parents and children. Yet all of us grew up with their products in our household, and half of you still have products from a company that loves to torture parents and children. Let me take 1 minute to introduce myself. It's great being up here in Boston in the shadows of Harvard. Reminds me of my education. I don't know how many of you went to Harvard. I didn't. I got my education at Friendly's restaurant. I was a dishwasher. And if any of you guys have been a dishwasher at Friendly's restaurant, you know, empirically speaking, it is the worst goddamn job in the world. So later on, graduated school, and I went away with some friends. And I was actually working in the world of market research, and I was analyzing what works and what doesn't work in the world of advertising. And I went away with some friends to the Grand Canyon. And apparently transparency is a big issue in the world of business right now. So in the interest of transparency, I will admit there were some very heavy psychedelic drugs going on this weekend. And we hiked down to the bottom of the Grand Canyon, and I had a very non-psychedelic thought. I realized that most of the advertising that I see sucks. So I spent hours thinking about it. I ran out of the Grand Canyon. I called my roommate from college. I'm like, dude, let's start an advertising agency. And he's like, dude, have you ever even been in one? I'm like, no, have you? He's like, no. I'm like, let's do it. So we started an advertising agency 13 years ago, and what's amazing is 2 years ago, we were recognized as Agency of the Year. And then last year, we won it back-to-back, Agency of the Year again, and I think part of the reason is we were outsiders. We didn't come from the machine. We didn't come from the system. We looked at things fundamentally different. But then something happened that always happens to me. I started getting a little bored, and I started thinking about how can I fill some more of my time, while I was also seeing exactly what you guys see. There's a revolution taking place in the way that we communicate. And you guys know the data, right? There's 30 billion pieces of information exchanged on Facebook every single month. A teen sends a text every 20 minutes that he's awake. 90% of TV advertising is proven to be ignored. In digital, research just came out. This is fact. You've got a greater likelihood of surviving a plane crash than clicking on a banner ad. And this is how I make my living. I make banner ads, I make TV ads, we make websites, we do all that cool stuff. But we saw that there was a revolution taking place because if you think about advertising, it's really just basically the same as the Mad Men era. So we just wanted to pull on this string and figure out what does the future hold for advertising? So we called a bunch of people, and we wound up speaking with some of the most important and influential executives in the world. The CEO of Under Armour, the CEO of Patagonia, the CMO of Unilever, the #2 advertising agency in the world, brain scientists from Harvard, pro athletes like Shaquille O'Neal, and we made this documentary. And what's amazing is, what we learned in the documentary is that advertising can help save the world. And I know that sounds kind of crazy because we're an industry that's basically known for obfuscation and duplicity, which are fancy words that I'm using up on stage. Advertising is known for being full of shit. And it took about a year of making this documentary before I realized, yes, advertising can in fact save the world. And I want to show you this because I think that's been a key theme throughout today, is that it's not just about advertising, this sort of amorphous concept, it's about you and me and each other. We all have the ability to make the world a better place, one small step at a time. And this doesn't mean we're all going to run out and save the manatees over here, right? I'm going to walk through this a little bit. But let me show you this. This is the most evil man in the world. Evil, evil bastard. Fred Flintstone. This is the man that screwed up your day today and screwed up every single day of your career. Let me show you something and explain.
They sure work hard, don't they, Barney?
Yeah? I hate to see them work so hard.
Yeah, me too. Let's go around back where we can't see them.
Gee, we ought to do something, Fred.
Okay? How's about taking a nap?
Hey, I got a better idea. Let's take a Winston break.
That's it! Winston is the one filter cigarette that delivers flavor 20 times a pack. Winston's got that filter blend.
Yeah, Fred.
You see, when advertising came out, it was incredibly powerful, right? If you wanted to learn about new products and new services before there was the internet, advertising was able to bring those products right into your household, tell you about the features, the functionality, the brands, provided a ton of value, and we believed it. There was no reason not to. So Fred and Barney get on our TV, smoke some cigarettes, avoid cleaning up, make a few misogynistic jokes, smoke a couple butts. They're having a great time. Why wouldn't we believe them? But then what happened is, over the years, our loved ones got sick, and some even died. Then it turns out that these assholes from the tobacco industry had been lying to us for decades. So what happened? What happened is we stopped believing the advertisements. It turns out right now that trust in corporations is at an all-time low. People don't trust corporations, they don't trust CEOs, and they don't trust ads. And while advertising trust is going down, control is going way up. And I think the best example of that is shown right here through the most evil corporation in the world. You see, Crayola, it turns out, loves to torture parents and children. I'll show you. I'm like a lot of you guys. I travel way too much. If I go away for a night, no big deal. 2 nights, go away 3, 4 nights, you want to come back, and you want to play with your kids. And you really want to bring them a gift, right? Say, hey, Daddy loves you, I'm sorry I was gone for a few days, but you don't want something too expensive because you don't want to spoil them. And ideally, it's something interactive that you can play with them. So then you look at Crayola, and they've got something brilliant going on here. Kids love bubbles. Color is in the Crayola DNA. And I saw a TV ad about it. You take this little machine, it makes purple bubbles, it makes orange bubbles. Kids touch this thing, and they're spontaneously dancing. I'm on my way to Father of the Year. But what I didn't see was this. Some bubbles recreated. Size 8 font. It's literally translucent down in the corner. So I went online, and I went to go get the product. Then I saw something I've never seen before in my life. Every single person that rated the product gave it 1 star. Turns out it got 1 star because there's no option for actually giving it 0 stars. And if you're looking for some incredible entertainment Saturday night when the Red Sox aren't playing, just type Crayola Bubble Launcher into Amazon and read the reviews because they're hilarious. I brought some with me. Let me show you some. Worst product since thalidomide. It's poison. Let me zoom in. Whoever designed this product is a sick individual that hates parents and thinks torturing children is great fun. Worst toy ever. This is some evil person's creation. Zooming in, invented to torture parents. Do not buy or use this product. If there is ever a class action lawsuit, I will participate. We've all read our reviews, right? Then there's that one person who's kind of insane and write this big thing. This person's not. This person's a creative genius. 10 steps. Let's go into a few of my favorites here. Step 6, wash, scrub, wash, scrub, wash, scrub, wash, scrub, wash, scrub. 7 and 8, this is awesome because I did the same thing. You know your kid and he's got that friend and you hate that friend? I was that kid growing up, actually. Buy this product for him. Mess up his household. Step 9, buy this thing and send it to the homes of each of Crayola's executive board members. When I took that screenshot, there was 80. There's 135 reviews. They haven't done better than 1 star. And now everyone's crushing them. So here's the thing. You might be like, well, you know, most products are still bought in the retail store, and you're just talking about an e-commerce thing. Every single person in this room and every single person with discretionary income now has a supercomputer in their pocket called a smartphone. Washable my ass follows us wherever we go. And in case people are too lazy to read, there's photos, there's videos. So I'm a little stubborn, right? I'm like, I don't know. Maybe people are exaggerating. Let me go buy this product. I've done some bad things in my life. This is the closest I've come to being divorced. My wife realized that I didn't buy this thing out of love. I bought it out of this PowerPoint presentation, and she caught me putting the deck together. Here's the interactive part of the presentation. Let's see if you can find the TV ad, and let's see if you can find my son using the real product. Ads on the left. So a lot of this is sort of a branding issue, right? Can't trust the Crayola name. It's kind of an amorphous issue, right? Track brand, track brand, track brand. That's hard to measure. So what we did is we went up on Amazon. We used a random number generator. We found about 100 different products. Turns out that most products sell for about 10% discount. This product, they're just dumping on the marketplace for over 60% off. I've now shown this presentation all over the place. London, Toronto, Dubai, you name it, been around the world. And the funny thing is whenever I go to the product, they track who I am, and then they send me an email. Like, hey, Jeff, looks like you're really interested in the Crayola Bubble Launcher. Yeah, not so much. Shows that technology and advertising can't offset a piece of crap. So that was the string that we started with. There's going to be an advertising revolution. The way that we avoid these interruptive ads is growing exponentially at the same time that our power to share information and communication and make things transparent is also growing exponentially. So picked up the phone, called some folks that I know, and the very first person I called was Alex Bogusky. Alex Bogusky's agency won Agency of the Year 13 times. He was Creative Director of the Decade. He had the pick of any client he ever wanted to work with. He was the guy. He's Don Draper. And then right there in the middle of it, he just tapped out. He's like, you know what? I'm done. So we gave him a jingle like, hey man, why'd you step out of the industry when you were dominating the industry? And let's talk about the future of advertising. So let me show you a few chapters from the film, and this is the first one featuring Alex Bogusky.
If you drive people to a website where they can give a subservient chicken orders in a really kind of seamy living room that looks like a low-quality porn film, people are going to be interested.
For 20 years, Alex Bogusky was advertising's most gifted storyteller.
I'm a PC. I'm a PC too.
It's my money maker.
You know what else is cool about being a mannequin? We can twist our heads around to check out our butts.
The stories he told were funny, irreverent, ironic. His own story was more straightforward. He simply dominated the industry, transforming a small agency in Miami into the top creative shop in the world. They won Agency of the Year 13 times, and Alex was awarded Creative Director of the Decade. And that's where the story takes a turn. He started saying stuff like,
"A fundamentalist capitalist is as dangerous as any other kind of fundamentalist."
And
the people that gravitate towards advertising to children, someone said it's sort of like pedophilia, you know, that it's just unnatural.
He wrote a book about America's unhealthy obsession with oversized meals. This coming from the man who helped create this ad.
The Burger King Triple Whopper! Eat like a snake!
The conversations that I would have with my clients at really big corporations, they just seemed false. You didn't want to have any more fake conversations, I guess. I was done.
At the age of 46 and at the height of his career, Alex quit the advertising industry. Greensboro, Alabama is one of the poorest small towns in America.
Capitalism's in crisis. We don't have to look very far around. I mean, you can look in this town and there's crisis and it's been around for a while. You look at middle-class America, I mean, they got hammered. It's really important if you're going to innovate on corporate culture to get pretty far from corporate culture. We're here because we want to start a new kind of bicycle company. It's a bamboo bicycle company. These bikes last longer than steel and aluminum bikes. A stand of bamboo sequesters more CO2 than any other biomass. There's a lot of energy around bringing it to Alabama as a cash crop.
Half the kids in Greensboro grow up in poverty. In a town of less than 3,000, where many of the storefronts are permanently shuttered, Alex is betting that one company can make an impact on the community while making profits at the same time. The Bamboo Bike is the pilot program for a larger Bogusky project called Common. His goal is to launch 1,000 socially conscious ventures over the next few years.
I think I'm not the only one with that pent-up frustration around the constricted conversation that's happening in corporate America.
When Common has a board meeting, it's broadcast live, online, and it's not all good news.
We were having real conversations about where we would pollute, where we would mitigate that, and everybody involved was out of some aspect of corporate America, and I think they were just jazzed to finally be having that conversation. Brand is, in my mind, going to hopefully change radically from what's been a fictional story that stood between you and the company to real-time, up-to-the-second truth about your company, and can you, through that, compel me to buy? Shaping real-time, genuine, amazing stories which are out there, that's going to be, I think, what people in advertising are going to be asked to do, and I hope that's what they're asked to do. But what I always say about transparency is it's not a choice, right? It's going to happen. The only choice is, does it happen to you, or do you participate in it? And when it happens to you, it's proven to be really ugly.
So that last part, when he's talking about how transparency can get ugly, he actually introduced us to the next person in the film. His name is Dara O'Rourke, who's running an incredible company called Good Guide. And basically, it's a mobile device, and you can hold it up in front of any product, and it gives you complete transparency. It lets you look through the entire supply chain and figure out the ethics of how this product was developed. And what's interesting is the way they say it is they don't really care. Democrat, Republican, you want to make the world a better place or a worse place. We don't care what your value system is. We just want you to be able to hold this thing up and look at products and look beyond the marketing, look beyond the packaging. But his big moment actually came in the late 90s with the story you guys know about. He's the guy that outed Nike for their bad labor practices, which we see here. And quickly, his little report spread like wildfire. Newspapers around the world, and it started really picking up momentum, and the adjectives started getting rougher and rougher. And ultimately, what we found is they lost about $2 billion in the value of the company based upon being outed for these bad labor practices. So we had a team go in, pour through their income statements. It's all very easy. It's public information. It turns out at that same exact time, they were spending about $2 billion in marketing, Michael Jordan, et cetera. So what you realize is great advertising cannot offset bad behavior. They still got crushed. What's interesting is if you look at Nike now, and it's important to give them credit, according to Good Guide and all their PhDs, they're actually one of the highest rated apparel companies out there. So companies, giant companies even, can make significant changes. But the great example that we discovered in the film is Patagonia. And I recommend just studying up on Patagonia. Go get Yvon Chouinard's book, Let My People Go Surfing. This is a billion-dollar company, and basically the premise of it is if the waves are coming in, shut down the corporation, go surf for a little while. Work will be here, come on back. That's the name of his business book. But what we were introduced to is this website called the Footprint Chronicles. And through the Footprint Chronicles, what you can do is pick any product that you're interested in and look through the entire supply chain. What they do is they out themselves for their negative impact on the environment. This is Patagonia, one of the most environmentally friendly companies in the world, outing themselves for the bad things that they do. You can look, see where everything was developed, and they say, here's the good, here's the bad, here's what we think. They don't try to sugarcoat it. Basically, if you want to go swimming, you dive in the ocean, get back on the beach, 45 seconds later, your trunks are totally dry. Guess what? Mother Nature doesn't make that product. When you buy that product, we manufacture it, and there's manufacturing byproducts that negatively impact the environment. And you know what happens is a lot of people see this information, and they're like, holy smokes, I'm not going to buy that product. It happened to me. I don't know if any of you guys have seen the Don't Buy This Jacket campaign. They ran it on Black Friday. Literally, I didn't do this as part of my research, as part of my job, as part of the film. I went to buy a jacket. I wanted to buy a jacket. The day after Thanksgiving is Black Friday, #1 shopping day of the year. Companies sell more on Black Friday than they do in months combined. And I wanted to buy a blue jacket, so I go up on the website, and there's a blue jacket right there, huge, boom, right on the homepage. It says, do not buy this jacket. What the hell is this going? Click on a little link, following direct response principles, learn more. Click on it. Reduce, reuse, recycle. Recycle is your last option. Just reduce. Like, hey man, we're happy to sell you this jacket, but if you buy it, you're gonna make garbage with your old jacket, and if we manufacture it, there's gonna be byproducts. So, I'm a Jewish guy, I felt guilty. I'm like, all right, I'm not buying this thing. Didn't buy the jacket, lost my sale. Lost probably millions of dollars in sales, but what they gained is an evangelist. So I've spoken to literally thousands and thousands of people. Thousands of people have seen the documentary. We're writing a book, spreading the gospel about Patagonia. And we know from research, depending upon the study, it's like 4 to 12 times as influential as paid advertising referrals from others. But more important than my yuppie ass, right? Folks who are leading kayaking trips, fly fishing trips, surfing trips, these are the truly influential people in that category. And they will proselytize for Patagonia because they believe in the value system. And it's a big finding that we realized is a lot of this industry is messed up based upon one question. It's always the question of what. I'm a vendor, here's what I do. Technology company, here's what I do. I'm a big brand, here's what I want. Here's my RFP, here's what you should give me. The real questions that we should be asking are why and where. So the first one to touch on here is why. Why are you in business beyond the rudimentary characteristics of your product? Why, as a customer, should I care so much about your product and your brand that I'm going to tell all my friends about it? And this is the thing, for Patagonia, it's about the environment. But that's not authentic. Every company can't run out there and start hugging trees. It's not sincere. But the real thing is, if you want to have a great brand, this isn't about a good brand. If you want to have a great brand, you need to improve people's lives. If you look at, let's say, Under Armour as an example, they believe in the relentless pursuit of innovation to help athletes perform better. If you love sports, which by the way is a very positive thing, we're going to help you perform better. It's not just about throwing on your Nike or your Adidas and looking better. They throw technology into every product that they develop. Chipotle, by the way, all of these companies up here are now growing typically like 10 times more than their competition. Like, look at the stock prices, and the stock prices are booming for all these companies. Chipotle, for an example, used to be owned by McDonald's. Both organizations kind of had to come to Jesus. Chipotle invests in relationships with small family farms. So now that their products not only taste better, but they're healthier for their customers, and they're healthier for the farmers, which obviously all need help. So let me show you one more clip of the film. And this shows that we're really in the infancy stage of this whole transparency revolution. I'm going to hand you stuff and you tell me what it is, okay? I'll ask you a question and you tell me the answer, okay? All right. 1 second.
Transparency is still in its infancy. As technology evolves, consumers will too.
What's your name?
Superman.
Superman? What's this?
Baseball.
Baseball, very good. Can I see it? Thank you. What shape is that?
Triangle.
Very good. Can I see it? Thank you. What color is that?
Green.
What color?
Green.
Very good. Can I see it? Tyler, will you turn this on and play your new Cars 2 game?
Before kids even learn the basic shapes and colors, they interact with information that was previously only available in supercomputers. Access to information is growing at an exponential rate. Tyler's world will be completely transparent. Engineers at Corning are developing interactive glass that turns every surface we touch into a tablet computer. These images may seem futuristic, but the underlying technology already exists. Within a few years, we will be surrounded by screens wherever we go, every moment of the day. Pranav Mistry of MIT is doing away with screens altogether, enabling ratings and reviews to be projected wherever we want. Information will become more and more present in our lives. Not all of that information will be useful.
Are you ready for the mobile marketing era? Do you even know what that means? Some people call it the mobile banner mania.
There may actually be a war going on in the retail outlet, in online in the next couple of years, where one side will be slamming us with ads everywhere we look, trying to weasel into other parts of our life, into our family conversations, into our photo sharing conversations, all over. They're gonna be trying to infiltrate. And at the same time, consumers are gonna have tools to see through all of that.
It's not just that we're sort of in the infancy stage with all this technology. We've got this whole generation of 20-somethings that we're calling digital natives. Well, there's a whole generation that's growing up transparency natives. They've never really been exposed to a world where brands are built through interruptive messages. Can we throw the monitor on for me, please? So here's the interesting thing is, we love to talk about Facebook and all this crazy statistics, right? But the real truth of the matter is this revolution started a long time ago. Let's talk about a technology that's totally antiquated at this point. Google, right? It's been around for like, I don't know, 15 years or so. If you type any search string into Google, where should I go on vacation? 307 million results in 0.19 seconds. In antiquated technology, you can't even measure how different that is from the Mad Men era. It's so different, there's no way to quantify it. But if you look at advertising, It's almost exactly the same. Smiling pitch person gets on the screen, buy some, it's good. We did it in the 60s, we did it in the 80s, we did it in the 90s, and we're doing it today. For some reason, twins are very popular. Digital came along, a medium that is proven to cause international revolutions, a medium that can change the world. So what did we do with it? We took 30-second TV spots, turned them into 30-second pre-rolls. We turned print ads, we turned it into banner ads. We took junk mail, and we turned it into spam. So like I mentioned earlier, I didn't go to Harvard. I went to a pretty crummy state school, got pretty crummy grades, never felt so great about myself and my education. So now what we do is we bring in these interns that did go to Harvard, got like 3.9 GPAs, and to make ourselves feel better, we fuck with them. And one of the ways that we fuck with them is we have them count links. That's how I know on the cover of NewYorkTimes.com right now, there's 294 links. On the cover of People in Yahoo, there's over 150 links. If you look at a typical person who comes home in the evening, works all day, checks some sports scores, reads some articles, checks their horoscope, checks the movie listings, blah, 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 that person can be exposed to 10,000 links in a day. So if we think we can take this little ad, there's one up in the corner for Travelocity, and stick that in, and think we're going to build a world-class brand, we're kidding ourselves. We interviewed a neuroscientist for the film. Turns out when the human brain is exposed to a banner ad, virtually nothing happens. They're invisible. Here's a great one. The only thing creepier than the fact that I've got a camera in the bathroom is somebody's trying to sell me something while I urinate. It's great, we're making this film and I came across this. So I broke it out in San Francisco, right? If you go to a real sports town, Boston, you break out an iPhone in the bathroom, you get pummeled. San Francisco, like, hey man, is that the new iPhone 5? Let me check that thing out. Go ahead and film, it's all cool. Crazy town. But literally, they're trying to sell us things while we're going to the bathroom. We're exposed to over 5,000 ads and brand messages per day. Our parents' generation, it was only 2,000, so it's growing exponentially. More and more ads, less and less effective. So we brought in a neuroscientist. Unlike this picture from A Clockwork Orange, they have the ability to read the human brain at 2,000 times per second, using a device it's basically like an electronic yarmulke. It's really unobtrusive. So if you show somebody a pretty good ad, you can actually read the human brain light up. But if you give them a real world experience, it's like fireworks. A great real world experience is fundamentally more appealing to the human brain than a great ad, but what's interesting is it's not about the big moments. What we learn through neuroscience is it's about the moments between the moments. It's not about walking into the store, looking at the product. Here's a good way of looking at it. Ann Taylor. Absolutely beautiful model, absolutely beautiful ad. See the ad, get excited, walk into the store. Absolutely beautiful store, beautiful lighting, beautiful products, just like their competition. Then you go in the changing room, and it looked like hell, just like most companies' changing rooms. Research shows that 68% of the decisions are actually made in the changing room. But what do they look like? Dreck, gray, lame. When they were conducting the research, they found that women were actually looking in the mirror, getting negative thoughts about themselves because of the bad lighting, rather than positive thoughts about the products. So they changed that moment between the moment. They made it super granular and said, wait a second, let's thin slice this one part of the shopping experience. So they made their changing rooms twice as big. They changed the lighting, they changed the fixtures, they changed the furniture, they turned it into a social experience for women to do together. And we see it day in and day out, right? Look at Apple. You know what sucks about buying a $2,000 computer Waiting online. Now everybody can check you out. Holding on to a receipt? No more. Email it to you. Transferring files? Go to the Genius Bar. Going to the Genius Bar with a 4-year-old hyperactive kid? No problem. Now they got a 2-foot table for 4-year-olds to hang out. They just keep thin slicing that experience down to create a world-class brand. So as you think about your customer journey, if you think you can compete by sticking a great digital ad right into a page like this, it's not going to work. Or if you want to think about your website, here's Microsoft, here's their mobile page. If your site looks something like this, while your competition looks something like this, these are the moments between the moments. Look at those breakdowns. That's the second question. If the first question is why, the second question is where. And if you can find where there's a breakdown in the relationship, where you can take a point of pain and turn it into a point of pleasure, you've got the remarkable ability to differentiate your brand. So let me show you one more clip from the film. This is Zappos, a company that we know and love so much, that's really thin sliced the experience, but how they do it is a little different than we expected.
A lot of companies have ideas for improving their customer experience. The challenge is making it happen. How do you change your organization and train your people to deliver a great experience? In search of answers, we took a trip to the Zappos headquarters in Las Vegas.
It is such a good night to kiss. It is such a good night to dance. It is such a good night to Scooby-Doo-Doo-Doo, Scooby-Doo-Doo-Doo, Scooby-Doo-Doo-Doo love.
One more thing I'm going to do for you for being such a good sport and understanding that sometimes we all make mistakes and these things happen. I'm going to go ahead and upgrade your account to VIP with us. Awesome. We ordered one pair of Nike Cortezes. We ended up talking for like 2 hours and 50 minutes. And I told him like he didn't feel like a customer to me. I felt like we were bros just walking around the mall together shopping for shoes.
It is such a good night to kiss. It is such a good night to dance. It is such a good night.
No company is more synonymous with customer service than Zappos. The online retailer has sold millions of shoes while spending relatively little on paid advertising. Instead, Zappos has invested in free shipping, a 24/7 call center, and most of all, the simple idea that happy employees will lead to happy customers.
Rather than just say culture is important, let's actually make it the #1 priority of the company. We get the culture right, then most of the other stuff like delivering great customer service and customer experience happen naturally as a natural byproduct.
Hi, my name is Jerry. I'm the mayor. I'm here to make sure everybody's happy. As you see in my cube, we give free hugs.
The Zappos corporate culture is casual, a little dorky, and most of all, happy. On a typical afternoon, you'll see a potluck lunch, a parade, a giant shoe, slick dance moves, a guy in a leopard suit, and lots of smiles. The level of happiness in this place is almost ridiculous. The company throws blowout parties, provides free healthcare for all employees, and even keeps a full-time life coach on staff.
We know for a fact that if a person is, happy personally, they're also happy professionally.
It turns out that happiness is great for business. In 2008, Zappos hit $1 billion in sales and hasn't looked back. The growth has been driven almost entirely by word-of-mouth recommendations and repeat customers. In 2010, the company received 25,000 job applications for 250 openings. That makes Zappos more selective than Harvard.
Hey Zappos, my name is Tyler, and I'm trying to get a job with you guys, so what I did is I wrote a little song based on your guys' 10 core values.
At the same time, we had to ask, in a company where everyone is so happy, can they still make the hard decisions? Is there a happy way to fire somebody?
A lot of companies have these things called core values or guiding principles, and they kind of read like a press release that the marketing department put out. Maybe you learn about it on day one and then it just becomes this meaningless plaque on the lobby wall. So for us, we wanted to avoid that. We wanted to come up with committable core values, and by committable, meaning we're actually willing to hire or fire people based on those values, completely independent of their actual job performance. Even if they're a superstar in their specific job function, if they're bad for our culture, we'll fire them for that reason alone. And I think that's something that most companies aren't willing to do. A company's culture and a company's brand are really just two sides of the same coin. The brand is just a lagging indicator of the culture. Companies are becoming more and more transparent whether they like it or not. Everyone's hyper-connected and information travels so quickly, and so that lag time between brand and culture is actually becoming less and less, and that is really scary for companies where the brand that they're trying to portray is different from their internal culture.
Good evening, thank you for calling Zappos. This is Kevin.
For Zappos, their culture is reflected in their interactions with customers, as well as their media coverage. When they do spend money on paid advertising, they let the culture speak for itself. Their recent TV campaign consisted of transcripts of real customer service calls.
It's a great day here at Zappos. How may I help you?
I received the most beautiful dress this morning.
Oh, awesome.
Oh, it's gorgeous. My problem is I don't know who it's from.
Okay, let me take a look here.
Okay. Does this happen a lot?
No, not really. Who do you think it's from?
Is it from Eddie?
No.
Okay. Daryl? He's
No.
like stalking me. Okay. Is it from Jesse?
Yes.
Ah! Rachel, it's from Jesse! Oh my God, she's so hot.
So a revolution is coming. And I really do believe that we, every single person in this room, can lead the revolution. And I really do believe that if we lead the revolution, we can change the world. And it doesn't have to be about the environment. It's obviously an amazing thing what Patagonia is doing, but it can be just about transparency and improving people's lives, whether it's a shopping experience so people are using their money more wisely, or it's helping someone with something they're passionate about, like helping an athlete perform better, or it's running a corporation like Zappos with a culture that's so strong that everybody is ridiculously happy all day long. And that happiness actually stretches out into a revenue model. And the one thing I've learned through all this is that the first step is just deciding. If there's any action item in here, just decide. Do you want to create a breakthrough brand, which, to Seth Godin's point, has some risks in it? You're going to have to carve a new path, or do you just want to have a good career in a good brand? Because when you make that decision, it changes everything that you do during the day. That new mobile technology that'll insert an ad between each layer when people are playing a game, that thing is really cool, and people will use that ad. It will move your brand forward. But when you think about making a revolutionary brand with incredible results, you start realizing, like, maybe that's not so appealing. Maybe there's a better way that I could spend my time during that meeting. So that's what I would just counsel everyone. Give it some thought, because that's the first step. Do you want to lead the revolution? Thank you very much. If you're interested, it's at thenakedbrand.com. You can find more about the film. It's out on iTunes. It's going to be on Bloomberg in a few weeks. The company is Questus, and I greatly appreciate your time. Thank you very much.